great Freeman Adventures trips left this year, and you should become part of it. First, in September, we'll be on board the Apollo out of C4 Sport Fishing in San Diego during the best weather months of the year. That should be a great 2-day trip, all meals included, and limited to only 21 anglers. And then in October, we'll be on board the Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. Again, great weather, great variety, and great fishing. Hope you can join us for one of those 2 great trips. Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California, this lovely Friday morning. Man, has it been an eventful night for me? I'm going to get into that with you in just one more moment. It is great to have you here, and we have got so much to talk about. Some great bluefin tuna fishing down in Ensenada, 70 miles below the borders. Our brothers and sisters in Mexico Lindo are putting the hurt on the bluefin tuna. There's some pretty good fishing out there on Tanner and Cortez Bank, but there's also some stinkers thrown in there. Weather, currents, all kinds of adverse weather conditions are making for some tough sledding out there in that neck of the woods. And Paulina, my co-host from Mexico, arrived last night. We had a great dinner with her and so much fun, and she is on board the Island Spirit. Why am I not there? We're going to answer all that because you know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, my God. Hope you're enjoying all the surfers I paid to entertain you in the background while I'm giving you the morning briefing. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you do that. Also, share these videos with a friend. If you would subscribe to the Freeman Adventures YouTube channel, that would be fantastic. And also tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content here on the channel. You can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Always great to be with you all. As I mentioned, we've been waiting for Paulina to show up for this great trip on the Island Spirit. It is taking place right now as I am standing here. I took Paulina and her mother, and we were going over to my friend Raphael's house this morning. Raphael was going to drive from his house to Ventura when I got a phone call from my oldest son, Philip, who said, "Dad, I think the baby's on the way. We're getting ready to leave for the hospital." And I had promised Philip that I would be there for the birth of his son. So I had to head in one direction, and Raphael and everybody head in the other direction. They're down there on the Island Spirit, and I've gotten so many messages from so many great folks saying, "Don't worry about a thing. We got Pauline and her mom. We'll take good care of it." And of course, they're in the capable hands of Captain Daniel Hadaway and the Island Spirit and Ventura Sport Fishing. I don't have a worry in the world. But back to Philip. Turns out it was a false alarm. At least that's what we think so far. Enough of a false alarm where I was able to come back and come down here to the beach and give you the morning briefing. Now, just let me give you a little bit of the backstory. When Philip was born, I was out on board a boat called the Phantom, Captain Larry Moore, with a bunch of great guys, Eddie Pacilio, Craig Beaker Jacobs, several other great guys. Bill Beebe, who used to write for the Daily Breeze, was there. Bob Alvarez. And we were catching some big white sea bass on the backside of Catalina Island. In fact, I got my biggest sea bass that day, which weighed in at 69 pounds. So it was a sizable sea bass. I haven't caught one that big ever since. So, of course, the joke started when this whole situation regarding Philip's baby started to occur. And one of the things that Mackie said was, "Hey, why don't you tempt Philip into going on the trip, and then we're assured of some really great white sea bass fishing." Well, Philip wasn't going to fall for that, and of course, I wasn't either. I really wanted to be there on the trip with Paulina and everybody else, but unfortunately, duty called, and I wanted to see the birth of Bowden, which is still in the offing right now. Don't forget, you can meet Paulina on this very beach tomorrow. She'll be here at 11 a.m. Hopefully, Bowden doesn't decide to show up during that time, but 11 a.m. to 1 in the afternoon, you're all invited. It should be a real celebration, kind of an end of summer celebration. Also, we're going to be doing some great surf fishing. Perfect conditions for that. Looks really, really good. And hopefully we'll catch some of the corvina that have been inhabiting the area. All right, let me take you south of the border now that I've talked to you about that. Hope they're having a great time on the Island Spirit. Mackie's shooting a lot of photos. We'll be checking that out as the day goes on. Ensenada, Baja California, Norte, 70 miles below the border. And they have been putting the hurt on the bluefin tuna down there. Little horse sport fishing out of Ensenada, catching all kinds of bluefin tuna. Several other guys down there. Baja sport fishing, Mara sport fishing. I'm leaving some names out. They're getting them too. It was really, really good. And it's close, maybe 10 miles outside of Todos Santos Island, outside the Soledad Bank, where they are finding 71-degree water, pretty darn warm water, and bluefin tuna that are not only up and foaming, but they are biting. In fact, you'll see fish on the surface iron, like a mint green Tatty 45. You'll see them on those dart jigs, like the Dawasacanas. There's jig strikes on the Mad Mac lures. Just about any way you could think about catching these BFT, mostly in the 20 to 40, 50 pound range, have been working really, really well. Blackfin sport fishing, I love those guys. They do such a great job. I talked to Victor and he said, Phil, this is for real. We're just praying that it's going to stick. You know, the offshore scene in Ensenada has been very tough for most of the year, but a few days ago it turned on and started to bite, as we told you, and it is flat, great fishing down there right now. It is breezy offshore. We'll see if that shuts it down. Hopefully it will not, and hopefully even if it does get breezy, that fish will stick there and hang there for a month or two. Wouldn't that be nice? I would love to see that. So really great bluefin tuna fishing going on inside, closer to home. If you want to fish for calico bass and sand bass, that bite's been very good with some barracuda flurries still occasionally taking place, some big bonita, and the yellowtail underneath the bird schools still present great opportunity for you to catch a nice jurel or two when you're running on those bird schools and throwing iron on them. That is fun fishing. So we've got the best of both worlds going on. However, I did tell you, and I want to make it clear to you, it's windy, and it's going to be windy for a few days out there, and that wind is going to be affecting not only northern Baja and Ensenada, but southern California, as you will hear as we go through the reports today. All right, let's talk about long range, and we've got to start out with some magnificent fishing on board the Royal Polaris. They're down there putting the hurt on the 50 to 75, 80-pound yellowfin tuna. I mean, this is how crazy it is on the yellowfin tuna. They had all they wanted. Tons of yellowfin tuna, limits of yellowfin tuna. You toss a bait in the corner, and it was full speed, wide open bite. I don't care what pound fluoro or mono you were throwing at them. They were going to eat it. So the guys on the Royal Polaris, crew and passengers, said, why don't we go focus on the yellowtail? So they get into a good yellow bite, and guess what happens? The yellowfin tuna push them out of the way. It's almost like, if you could say this, the yellowfin had become a nuisance. What a bite on the Royal Polaris. It's been great for all the long-range boats this year. 7-8 day trips have been absolutely fantastic. Magnificent fishing down there. Today they're focused in on wahoo. We'll see if they can get a little bit of a wahoo bite. But in general, they've had that great yellowfin tuna fishing. They've had excellent yellowtail fishing. That is, unless the yellowfin tuna push them out of the way. And also some really good wahoo fishing. Then on the way home, all these guys have been going in to the Baja coast, where they have been finding some really great calico bass fishing, more yellowtail, catching sheephead and other species like that, including some really good white sea bass fishing. So it has been phenomenal on the long range scene. All right, let's go out to Tanner and Cortez Bank and talk about that. About a 90-mile, 100-mile run for landings from San Diego all the way up to the Channel Islands, accessible to all those guys. You want to be on at least a day and a half trip to have half a shot at that fish. And the weather has been miserable out there. It's been windy and breezy. And if you get out there and make a good catch, you're going to work hard and scratch hard for it every single time. The Thunderbird, as the sun comes out, gorgeous, beautiful morning here in Surfside, California. It's absolutely beautiful, but windy offshore. Thunderbird They scratched and clawed for everything they could get. Captain Jeff Markland said conditions were not optimum. In fact, probably the other end of the spectrum in terms of what they were dealing with, currents and wind and just really adverse conditions. They still had 51 bluefin tuna, 8 yellowtail, 3 white sea bass for the Dana Wharf Rod and Reel Club. So they put together a halfway decent score over there on the Pegasus on a 2.5-day trip. 12 guys, they have 48 bluefin tuna on board there. Now they're looking for some yellowtails. They are limited out for their 2.5-day trip. The Legend on a day-and-a-half trip, 25 bluefin tuna. The Independence out of Point Loma sport fishing. They got out in that snotty weather, anchored up. Big boat, can take a lot of weather, but they said it was scratchy. They picked away at the bluefin tuna all day long, hoping for a better day today. There's some boats with some real clunker scores, very, very, very poor fishing. And then, as we just enumerated and showed you, there were some guys with some halfway decent fishing also. Most of that bluefin that they're catching out there is in the 10 to 40, 50 pound class. But there are fish in closer to San Clemente Island that exceed 200 pounds, most of it 100 to 150 pounds. You can catch those on the kite or on a fly line bait, and at times it's pretty good. You can come up with some decent scores on that bigger grade fish, and the seas are a little more tranquil in there than they are out on Tanner Cortez. I fished Tanner Cortez with my brother for a few years commercially back in the late 70s. And there's just nowhere to hide out there, man. When the weather gets you, it gets you good out there on Tanner Cortez. You got to run all the way back to the cove at Pyramid Cove at San Clemente Island to get out of that snotty weather. But for right now, that is the picture. And that breeze is going to continue here for the next few days. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Hopefully things are going to lay down. Unfiled taxes. Tim Marquez is your man. He's been doing taxes for 35 years. Give him a call today. Heating and or air conditioning needs. It's John Lopez to the rescue. And efficient heating and air conditioning. Give John a call today, just like Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle did the other day and was thrilled with the customer service, and great job John did. All right, my friends, let's talk about the islands right now. Coronado Islands, what a year they have had and continue to have at the Coronado Islands. Not only are there yellowtail nearby there, but guys are picking off a few bluefin tuna on many of the days. Sometimes they fish the island proper. Most of the time, they're running around looking for sonar marks or a kelp patty, and the fishing has been great. 25-pound fluorocarbon with a good hot fly line bait has probably been the best way, not probably, has definitely been the best way to get a bite in all of these bites, but you do catch some fish on the yo-yo iron and the surface iron at times. So there's some darn good fishing going on, no doubt about that. Really, really good stuff. Liberty, a bluefin tuna, and 61 yellowtail. Most of these guys are in the 30s on their passenger counts. The Malahini had 3 yellowfin tuna yesterday. The Mission Bell, 36 yellowtail, and a bluefin tuna to go along with it. And we've seen scores here recently up near 100 yellowtail, so hang on. The one thing I will tell you is you get to a weekend and you get a lot of boat pressure, and today is when the weekend really starts. Fridays, a lot of guys take that day off and try to get out there and beat that really crazy Saturday and Sunday pressure. But you're going to get a lot of boat pressure, so it makes things quite a bit more difficult. Make sure you're bringing a variety of tackle with you, not only 25-pound, but I would have the 40-pound also, and I wouldn't be throwing the iron myself with anything less than 50 pounds. So really good fishing going on there. San Clemente Island, there's good calico bass fishing and rockfish for many of the boats who are going in there right now. Many boats are trying to get out of that weather, that Tanner Cortez bank weather, which is up right now, very, very windy. So they're running in to Pyramid Cove at San Clemente Island or fishing the front side of the island where they can find some refuge from all of this wind. Good calico bass fishing, some yellowtail, and plenty of rockfish there. Catalina, we've been talking about how that island has been coming on more and more and more, and we are seeing a lot better fishing there. The Pursuit had 100+ calico bass, and then a variety of other species like barracuda, some really good bonito fishing, whitefish, sheephead, stuff like that. It is on the rebound and biting very well. And if you're fishing the lighter line, and I'm talking about fishing 15-pound fluoro with a good hot bait and you're back there in the kelp, you're going to catch all the calico bass you want. It's pretty darn good. Same thing on the El Patron, catching more and more calico bass over there at the island. It has been much improved there. So hopefully that is going to continue. Don't forget, if you want to get on board the El Patron, it's easy. You just go to www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Remember, weekday prices are reduced, so you get a real bargain and a light load. El Patron, Long Beach Sport Fishing. You're going to want to do that really, really soon. Santa Barbara Island, Tom Duras been fishing that out of Redondo on the Pescador and doing pretty darn good on the bottom stuff. An occasional big yellowtail also in that neck of the woods. In the Channel Islands, we see a little bit of white sea bass up there in that area. Not a lot, some halibut. It's windy up there. We're dealing with the wind in the Channel Islands also. Some decent calico bass fishing for a few of the guys up there, and also a little bit of barracuda spread around. Be interesting to see how Paulina and her mom and all the great Freedman Adventure family members do today on the island. Swear, yesterday, good shot of rockfish and whitefish. You can always fall back on that, it seems like, in the Channel Islands. Nothing wrong with that. And just kind of riding you up the coast a little bit further, Santa Barbara, similar kind of situations. Morro Bay, great rock fishing up there when they can stay out of the wind also. So really good rock fishing for everybody. It's summertime though, man. Where's our summertime bite? We're still kind of looking for that, and hopefully we'll see more of it as we go along. All right, let's talk local fishing. And San Diego has been fantastic this year, and it remains that way. Really great fishing going on down there. The Dolphin had limits of calico bass for 30 anglers, a nice halibut, some yellowtail again on the new Seaforth. There's been some white sea bass. I'm talking half-day boats that are fishing down there in San Diego. They're doing really, really well, and they've been doing well for over a month now. It's been flat fantastic. We had some really great sand bass fishing, and still do at times, but the calico bass and the exotics, now yellowtail and white sea bass, sprinkling of that mixed in with that wide open calico bass bite, and you have the recipe for a fun day of local fishing. New Seaforth, Dolphin, several other boats involved in it. It is flat, great fishing up to around Oceanside and Dana, catching more and more calico bass. A lot of shorts, but good action for everybody, and some bottom grabbers to go along with it. Here again, the victory with nice fishing. They had limits of calico bass. Again, many of the local boats here are starting to catch calico bass. We're thrilled to see that happening. Really nice day on the victory. There's a little bit of barracuda mixed in with it, and we're wondering, is this going to be a late season on our local bite? Is this getting ready to really go? We'll find out as time goes by, but dropper loop fishing has been good for some sand bass. I know private boaters can go and catch all the local sand bass they want, and that's been really, really good. But the calico bass bite on the sport boats really coming on with a little bit of barracuda mixed in, and you can always do the sculpin thing if all else fails. A little bit of bass up there in Redondo, Marina del Rey also, and some sculpin and whitefish and rockfish for them also. Hey, if you'd like to go fishing in the inner harbor, man, I'll tell you, it can get absolutely crazy. If Bowden doesn't pull a fast one on us and is born tomorrow night, I'll be out with our guide, our Freedman Adventures guide, and we'll be fishing the inner harbor with Paulina, fishing the breakwall for calico bass. If you'd like to fish the breakwall some night, or fish inside the harbor where we catch all kinds of calico, sand bass, and other species, just send me a text and I'll get you some more information on that. That is for sure. All right, let's talk about the Southern California surf tomorrow right here. It's going to be easy to find us. You just drive down to where you see that tower down there on Anderson and Pacific Coast Highway. You're going to park somewhere around there on either side of Pacific Coast Highway. You're going to walk straight out onto the beach. You're going to make a right-hand turn. You're going to walk down about 10 minutes, and we'll be here at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning, and I hope you can make it. You don't even have to like to fish. Bring a chair down, take a seat, have your coffee and donut, and enjoy the ambience of this beautiful Eastern Pacific Ocean. You're going to love it. And Paulina will be here. She'll have her merchandise. You can purchase some of that. You can hang out with the Freedman Adventures family. It could be the end of summer surf fishing trip, but I don't think so. Big Fish Bait and Tackle is located about a mile here at PCH and Seal Beach Boulevard. 10% off anything you want to buy Saturday. So go into the store, mention Freeman Adventures. You want a reel, you want a rod, you want anything in there, you can get it at 10% off. Anything that's not discounted already, I believe, is what they're doing. But ask them. Maybe they'll knock 10% off that also. Big Fish Bait and Tackle. It's all the bait you'll need for a successful surf fishing outing. So pick up some worms and come out here and see if you can't catch a nice big corbina, yellowfin croaker, or a spot fin croaker. We've seen a lot of corbina down there around Huntington Beach, and we've seen a lot of it up there in the Santa Monica Bay. There's also been some spot fin croaker taken here, and it looks pretty darn nice. I hope it stays like this. And I don't see a lot of grass in the water. So if we can stay away from the kelp, we should have an absolutely spectacular day. We're going to have a spectacular day, whether those fish cooperate or not, because we're going to have the Freeman Adventures family right here on this beach Saturday with our dear friend Paulina and her mom, my co-host when I'm in Mexico. It was so good to spend some time with her and her mom. And then I was on my way to Ventura when that kind of got, the rug got pulled out from under me. But I am so excited about the birth of Bowden. In the very near future, I am thinking maybe when I get off of here, I'll be running back to the hospital. We'll see. All right, my friends, what can I tell you? It is always great spending time with each and every one of you. We'll continue to monitor and watch it all for you very, very closely. Thanks for all of your love and support. To all the Freeman Adventures family members who are on board the Island Spirit, to Captain Daniel Hadaway, the crew, and Saul up there in the ticket office, I send you guys all my very, very best. And I hope to see you here on Saturday. If not, I hope to see you somewhere else really, really soon. Have a great day, my friends. I'll see you soon.